Good morning, Year 5. It's Wednesday, you've made it halfway through the week, well done, and it's a lovely sunny one, as you can see. So, we're going to dive straight into our mathematical talk questions. Hopefully they won't blow away. And I don't think they're too complicated today, so if you didn't understand them, don't worry. I'll go through them now. If you did, let's just check over them. Okay, so our first question is, how many parts are there in a whole? That question is pretty much impossible to answer unless you have the fraction in front of you. So I'm going to show you with a few fractions. So the way we found out how many parts there are is we need to look for the denominator. The denominator will give us the answer. So can you just think to yourself now, or tell whoever you're with, is the denominator the bottom number or the top number? Okay, the bottom number is our denominator. Remember D for down in denominator rather than numerator, which is our top number. So what we need to look for is our bottom number, D for down, denominator. In this fraction, there is 2 parts. So if we were to show this fraction, if we were drawing it in a circle, it would be divided down the middle, something like that. If it was in a square, say it was in that square, we divide it down the middle like that. And you can see there's 2 parts. Okay, so let's look at our next one. Just make sure we really understand this. How many parts are in a whole when we have this fraction? Okay, so we've got a different numerator, but that doesn't matter because we're just going to look at the denominator, the bottom number. Okay, so in this one, there are 7 parts in the whole. Okay, and down here there are 30 parts in the whole. Lots of parts in this fraction. If I was to draw that out, it would have lots and lots of lines on it, so I'm not going to do that. Okay, let's move on to question 2. What do you notice happens to a mixed number? So a mixed number is when we have a whole number and a fraction. Okay, what do you notice happens to a mixed number when the denominator, the bottom number, increases and the numerator remains the same? So you can see that here, the denominator has increased and the numerator, the top number, has remained the same. So what's the difference between those 2 numbers? Which one's bigger? Have a little think, and now I'm going to show you. Okay, so I'll show you both of these. So we're going to have 1 whole. I might need to jam it under my book. Okay, 1 whole, our first one, and 1/3. Okay, so there we go. Our whole has got 3/3, but we are only using 1/3. Okay, that is our first fraction. Okay, let me just put that up there so it's holding it down while I find my second fraction. Our second mixed number even. 1 whole. And 1/4. So that is a piece of paper folded into 4 parts. Can you see which one is bigger? Okay, 1 whole and 1/3. It's a bit difficult to see on the surface, I know. Or 1 whole and 1/4. You can do it quite easily by comparing those 2. 1/4 is actually smaller than 1/3 because we folded a piece of paper in 4 and a piece of paper in 3. So if you're folding it in 4, you're going to have less space, aren't you? Okay, so when this happens, like our question, what do you notice happens in the mixed number when the denominator increases and the numerator stays the same? The number gets smaller. Which might look a little bit complicated because our number has actually increased, but you've got to think that just means we've folded it more times. Okay? Right, let's move on to our final one. I hope that didn't confuse you too much. If you found that a little bit complicated, you can try it out with some paper at home. Okay, question 3. What happens when the numerator, top number, okay, is a multiple of the denominator. You can remember what multiple means. A multiple means it is in the same times table. Okay, so we can see here 2 is our denominator and 4, our numerator, is in the 2 times table. Okay, so remember, when we have a fraction like this, a top-heavy fraction, an improper fraction, we can simplify it down, can't we? So we can see, how many times does 2 go into 4? Because we know that 2 over 2 equals 1, don't we? That is 1 whole, that's the same thing. So, if we know that, what is 4 over 2? 2 can go into 4 twice. Okay, so here we can see that when the numerator is a multiple of the denominator, it can be turned into a whole number. Okay, let's just check that over here again. So our numerator is 6. Is that in the 3 times table? Yes, definitely is, isn't it? So if we were to make 1 from this fraction, it would be 3 over 3 equals 1. Okay, so how many times does 3 go into 6? Again, it is 2. So we can see, again, this is correct, that when you have a numerator that is a multiple of the denominator, it will make a whole number when simplified down. Okay, I hope that made sense, Year 5. Tomorrow I will be joining you on video for a geography lesson rather than maths, and then on Friday I think we might be doing a story. Okay, I hope these have helped you. Please let me know if there's anything you'd really like help with your maths, and I'll see if I can get a video done for you. Thank you very much and have a lovely time out in the sun today. Bye.